The quantum communications array aboard the ESS Vigilant hummed softly as Commander Diana Frost reviewed the intercepted transmission for the 5th time. Her fingers trembled slightly as they hovered over the holographic display, the implications of what she was reading sending ice through her veins. After 15 years of serving as Earth's intelligence chief within the Interstellar Alliance, she had learned to trust her instincts. This time, they were screaming danger. The message was encrypted using the Alliance's highest security protocols, meant only for the eyes of the Council of Seven, the mysterious ruling body that had governed interstellar relations for the past 3 centuries. Diana had spent months crafting the algorithm that finally cracked their encryption, and now she almost wished she hadn't. "Computer, verify translation again," she ordered, her voice steady despite her racing heart. The A responded instantly, its neutral tone a stark contrast to the weight of its words. Translation verified with 99.9% accuracy. The document details Phase 1 of Operation Stellar Shield, authorized by all 7 Council members. Diana closed her eyes, taking a deep breath. The document outlined a methodical plan to systematically dismantle Earth's growing influence in the galaxy. Humanity had become too innovative, too adaptable, too dangerous in the Council's eyes. Their rapid technological advancement and expansion into new territories had frightened the older spacefaring races. The plan was elegant in its brutality. A series of carefully orchestrated accidents and natural disasters would gradually cripple Earth's infrastructure and military capabilities. Trade routes would be mysteriously disrupted. Colonial supplies would be lost to pirate raids. And finally, when humanity was sufficiently weakened, the Alliance would step in to protect Earth by assuming direct control of its government and military. A soft chime interrupted her thoughts. "Commander, Admiral Thane requests your presence in the war room," the ship's A announced. "Acknowledged." Diana gathered her data crystals and squared her shoulders. Walking through the Vigilant's pristine corridors, she nodded to passing crew members, maintaining her usual composed demeanor. None of them knew that their world was about to change forever. Admiral Julian Thane stood at the center of the war room, his weathered face illuminated by the holographic display of Earth's defense network. At 63, he was one of the few remaining veterans of the Proxima campaign, where humanity had first proven its worth to the galaxy. His dark eyes fixed on Diana as she entered. "Please tell me you're wrong," he said without preamble. "I wish I was, sir." Diana projected the intercepted plans onto the main display. "The Council signed this 3 days ago. They're moving faster than we anticipated." Thane's expression hardened as he studied the details. "Bastards," he muttered. "We gave them everything they asked for, followed their regulations, shared our technologies, and this is how they repay us." "They fear us," Diana replied, highlighting specific sections of the document. "Look at their justification. They cite our unprecedented rate of advancement and concerning adaptability as primary threats to galactic stability." "More like threats to their control," Thane growled. He straightened, his decision made. "How long before they realize you've broken their encryption?" "Days at most. The algorithm I used will leave traces they'll eventually detect." The Admiral nodded, then activated his secure command channel. "This is Admiral Thane. Execute Protocol Omega. Authorization code. Prometheus 7 Delta 9. Diana's eyes widened. Protocol Omega was theoretical. A contingency plan so extreme it had never been seriously considered. "Sir, are you sure?" "Once we commit to this course." "They'd left us no choice, Commander." Thane's voice was grim but determined. For the past 20 years, while playing the role of the Alliance's obedient member, we've been preparing, building, planning. The Council thought they were watching us carefully, but they saw only what we wanted them to see. The War Room's displays shifted, showing hidden shipyards scattered throughout the solar system and beyond. Facilities that officially didn't exist, constructing vessels with technologies the Alliance didn't know humanity possessed. How many? Diana asked, her professional mask slipping as she saw the true scope of Earth's secret preparations. Enough, Thane replied. The Alliance thinks they're dealing with a clever child that needs to be contained. They're about to discover they've cornered a wolf. He turned to face her directly. I need you to coordinate with General Santos at Titan Base. You'll head our intelligence division when we go operational. Diana straightened. Of course, sir. But what about our allies within the Alliance? There are those who've helped us, trusted us, already taken care of. Encoded warnings are being transmitted through secure channels. Those who've shown us true friendship will have time to distance themselves from what's coming. Thane's expression softened slightly. The Council wanted to teach humanity its place in the galaxy, Commander. Instead, they're about to learn why our ancestors named our warships after dragons and gods of war. As Diana left the war room, she felt the weight of history pressing down on her shoulders. Humanity had spent centuries reaching for the stars, dreaming of a peaceful union with other intelligent species. Now those dreams were turning to ash, replaced by the cold reality of betrayal and the fury of a species who refused to be caged. The next few days would determine the fate of not just Earth, but the entire galaxy. And Diana Frost, daughter of a long line of soldiers and scholars, was ready to ensure humanity's survival by any means necessary. The silent deception was over. Now it was time for humanity to show its teeth. The vast underground chamber beneath Titan's frozen surface hummed with activity as General Isabella Santos walked through rows of gleaming spacecraft. Each vessel represented humanity's answer to the Alliance's betrayal, sleek, deadly, and completely unknown to their supposed masters among the stars. Status report, she commanded, her voice carrying the authority earned through 30 years of military service. Chief Engineer Rhea Petal fell into step beside her, holographic schematics dancing around them as they walked. The Nemesis-class destroyers are fully operational, General. The quantum field generators performed beyond expectations in the final tests. Rhea's dark eyes sparkled with pride as she gestured to the massive ships. The Alliance's standard shields won't stand a chance against our gravitic lance technology. The vessels before them represented Project Phoenix, humanity's insurance policy against extinction. While the Alliance had watched Earth's official shipyards and monitored their sanctioned technological development, a shadow program had operated in perfect secrecy, pushing the boundaries of physics and engineering. And the stealth systems? Santos asked, studying the nearest ship's obsidian hull. Perfect passive invisibility, both to conventional sensors and quantum detection arrays. The metamaterial coating absorbs all scanning frequencies. As far as the Alliance is concerned, these ships don't exist. Rhea paused, then added, though I still think calling them ghost ships was a bit dramatic. Santos allowed herself a small smile. Sometimes a little drama serves its purpose, Chief. The psychological impact when these ships appear from nowhere will be as valuable as their firepower. Their conversation was interrupted by a priority alert. Commander Frost's face appeared on a nearby screen, her expression grave. General, the Council's moving faster than predicted. They've already begun positioning fleet elements near our outer colonies. Santos nodded, unsurprised. They're trying to establish a containment perimeter before implementing their main strategy. Time estimate until they realize their encryption has been compromised. Hours at most. Our deep cover agents report increased activity around their primary command centers. Then we move now. Santos activated her command interface, connecting to all Project Phoenix facilities across the solar system. This is General Santos. Operation Lasting Night is now in effect. All vessels begin emergency deployment procedures. This is not a drill. Alarms blared throughout the facility as crews rushed to their stations. The massive chamber's ceiling began to part, revealing Titan's star-filled sky through layers of liquid methane. Rhea was already moving, barking orders to her engineering teams as the ship's engines flared to life. Commander Frost, Santos continued, coordinate with Admiral Thane. I want our Ghost fleet in position before the Alliance realizes what's happening. They'll expect us to be defensive, to huddle around Earth and our core colonies. Instead, we'll be behind their lines before they know we've moved. Understood, General. Transmitting tactical data now. As the first ships began rising from their kitten berths, Santos received another alert. Admiral Victor Nazarov, commander of Earth's official defense fleet, appeared on the screen. General, the Alliance's ambassador is demanding an emergency meeting with the Earth Council. They're claiming to have evidence of illegal military research. Santos's expression hardened. Right on schedule. They're playing their hand exactly as we predicted. Implement Protocol Shadow. I want every officially registered warship in the system to maintain normal patterns. Let them think they're watching our entire military capability. Duh, General. Though I almost feel sorry for them. Nazarov's weathered face showed a grim smile. They spent so many years ensuring we couldn't build a fleet to match theirs. They never considered we might build something better. As the conversation ended, Rhea approached with a final update. All ships report ready, General. Ghost Fleet Elements 1 through 7 are prepared for immediate departure. Santos took a moment to survey the chamber as the massive ships rose one by one into Titan's atmosphere. Each vessel represented countless hours of secret labor, banned research, and carefully hidden resources. The Alliance had thought they were slowly binding humanity in silken threads of regulations and restrictions. Instead, they had forced humanity to become more creative, more innovative, and ultimately more dangerous than they could have imagined. Send word to all colony commanders, Santos ordered. Tell them to activate their emergency protocols and prepare for independent operations. The Alliance thinks they're going to isolate our worlds from each other. They're about to learn that every human colony is a fortress, and every civilian ship they've dismissed as harmless may be something else entirely. Above them, the ghost ships vanished from visual and sensor detection as they engaged their stealth systems. Hundreds of vessels, representing the largest single fleet ever assembled by humanity, disappeared into the void between worlds. The Alliance's carefully laid plans assumed they would have weeks to implement their strategy of isolation and containment. Instead, humanity's counterstrike was already in motion. You know, Rhea said quietly as they watched the last ship vanish, my grandmother used to tell me stories about the phoenix, a bird that rose from its own ashes, more powerful than before. I never really understood why we named the project after it until now. Santos nodded. The Alliance thought they were gradually burning away our strength, our independence. Instead, they were tempering us, forcing us to become something new. She turned to her command station as reports began flowing in from ships taking up their strike positions. Humanity is about to rise from the ashes of their betrayal, and the galaxy will never be the same. The pieces were in place. The Ghost Fleet was deployed. Now they simply had to wait for the Alliance to make their final move, unaware that they had already lost the initiative. Project Phoenix wasn't just a military program. It was humanity's declaration that they would never again allow themselves to be at another species' mercy. The next few hours would change the course of galactic history, and Isabella Santos intended to ensure that change favored Earth. The Alliance flagship Eternal Dominion hung in high orbit above Centauri Prime, its crystalline hull gleaming in the light of 3 suns. High Admiral Kexri of the Veleran species stood on his command deck, multiple eye stalks focused on tactical displays, showing the largest Alliance fleet gathering in 50 years. What he didn't see, what none of his advanced sensors detected, were the ghost ships already surrounding his position. "Send the ultimatum to Earth's government," he ordered, his translator converting his clicking speech to standard Alliance language. "They have 1 planetary rotation to submit to Alliance protection, or will be forced to take action to preserve galactic stability." The message was sent. Seconds later, instead of the expected fearful response, every display on his bridge went dark. "What's happening?" Kexri demanded, his eye stalks writhing in agitation. "Unknown, Admiral," his sensor officer reported. "We're detecting some kind of quantum field interference across all frequencies." The officer never finished his sentence. Space itself seemed to tear open around the Alliance fleet as humanity's ghost ships materialized from nowhere, their obsidian hulls absorbing both light and sensor waves. Aboard the ESS Nemesis, Commander Frost's voice was cold and clear. "All ships, execute Operation Thanatos. Fire at will." The Ghost Fleet's first strike was devastating. Gravitic lance beams, technology the Alliance had thought impossible for centuries, cut through the crystalline hulls of Alliance vessels like light through fog. The Eternal Dominion's shields, supposedly the most advanced in known space, didn't even register the attacks before failing. "This is impossible." Kexri screeched as his flagship's systems began failing. Their technology level was monitored, contained. On the Nemesis's bridge, Diana Frost watched the tactical display with grim satisfaction. "Transmit to all Alliance vessels. This is Commander Frost of Earth's Defense Force. Your fleets are surrounded, your technological advantage is nullified, and your leadership has grossly miscalculated. Surrender or be destroyed." The response was predictable. The Alliance ships attempted to coordinate a counterattack, but their formations had been carefully split by the Ghost Fleet's positioning. Their communications were being jammed by quantum interference fields, and their weapons were effectively useless against the metamaterial hulls of Earth's ships. "Second wave, engage," Diana ordered. More ghost ships decloaked behind the Alliance fleet, cutting off their retreat vectors. "All units implement targeting pattern Delta. Disable their engines first, weapons second. Let's give them time to reconsider their choices." The battle, if it could even be called that, lasted less than 15 minutes. When it was over, the mighty Alliance fleet hung powerless in space, their ships dark and silent. "Commander," her communications officer called out, "we're receiving surrender signals from 80% of the Alliance vessels. The remaining 20% are. Admiral Kexri is demanding to speak with you directly." Diana straightened her uniform. On screen, the Veleran Admiral's image appeared, his eye stalks rigid with fury. "This is an outrage. You cannot possibly." "I can and I have, Admiral," Diana interrupted. "Your Council's plan to subjugate Earth has failed. Your fleet is defeated, and this is just one battle group. Similar engagements are happening across Alliance space as we speak. She gestured, and new tactical displays appeared, showing other Alliance fleets meeting the same fate at the hands of humanity's ghost ships. You thought you were containing a primitive species, slowly binding us with regulations and restrictions. Instead, you forced us to innovate in ways you never imagined possible. The Council will never accept this, Kexri declared. The Council's opinion is rapidly becoming irrelevant, Diana replied. Now you have a choice. Order your remaining ships to stand down, or we'll demonstrate exactly how much of our technology you haven't discovered yet. As if to emphasize her point, several ghost ships decloaked even closer to the Alliance vessels, their gravitic lances powered and ready. The message was clear. Resistance was futile. Kexri's eye stalks drooped in defeat. We surrender. Diana nodded to her communications officer. Transmit surrender protocols to all Alliance vessels. Prepare boarding parties. I want their command crews secured and their ships under our control within the hour. As her orders were carried out, she opened a channel to General Santos. Phase 1 complete, General. The Alliance's primary fleet elements are neutralized. We've achieved total tactical surprise. Excellent work, Commander, Santos replied. Our deep strike teams are already moving against Alliance command centers. How did they react to our technology? About as expected, complete disbelief followed by denial, then surrender. They still can't understand how we developed these capabilities under their surveillance. They never understood human nature, Santos said. When you try to cage something, you only make it more determined to break free. The Council thought their restrictions would weaken us. Instead, they forced us to become more creative, more resourceful, and ultimately more dangerous than they ever imagined. Diana looked out at the disabled Alliance ships, their once proud crystalline hulls now dark and powerless against the backdrop of space. What's our next move? Consolidate our gains, secure our prisoners, and prepare for Phase 2, Santos ordered. The Council will attempt to rally their remaining forces once they realize what's happened. We need to be ready. Understood, General. Frost out. As the communication ended, Diana turned to her tactical officer. Status of Alliance communications. Still in chaos, Commander. Their encrypted channels are flooded with distress calls and confused orders. No one seems to know exactly what's happening or how to respond. Diana allowed herself a small smile, just as planned. They spent so long convinced of their superiority, they never prepared for a serious challenge to their power. She stood, watching as Earth shuttles began approaching the surrendered Alliance ships. Send word to all Ghost Fleet elements. Maintain combat readiness. This was just the beginning. The first strike had been delivered, swift and devastating. But Diana knew the real battle was just beginning. The Alliance's leadership wouldn't accept defeat easily, and there were still many worlds under their control. But humanity had proven its point. They were no longer the obedient children the Council had thought they could control. The galaxy was about to learn just how dangerous humanity could be when pushed too far. On the neutral world of Nexus Prime, diplomatic officer Kira Winters sat across from Ambassador Thexil of the Andari Confederation, one of the Alliance's oldest member species. The crystalline spires of the diplomatic quarter sparkled outside the window, but neither participant in this secret meeting was admiring the view. Your evidence is compelling, Thexil admitted, their bioluminescent patterns shifting in what Kira had learned to recognize as deep concern. The Council truly planned this suppression of Earth. They didn't just plan it, Kira replied, sliding another data crystal across the table. They've been implementing it for decades. The trade restrictions, the technology embargoes, the safety regulations, all designed to keep humanity contained and controlled. The Andari ambassador's patterns flickered rapidly, their equivalent of a heavy sigh. We suspected, but to see it confirmed. Many worlds have been questioning the Council's increasingly restrictive policies. Then perhaps it's time for those worlds to make their own choices, Kira suggested carefully. Earth doesn't seek to replace the Council's dominion with our own. We want genuine cooperation between equals. As more Alliance worlds learned the truth, the political landscape shifted rapidly. The Council's grip on power began to crumble as species after species declared their independence or aligned with Earth. The galaxy was transforming, and humanity was at the heart of the change. The Council's fortress world of Eternium loomed ahead of the Ghost Fleet, its legendary defenses now the last bastion of their fading power. Admiral Thane stood on the bridge of the ESS Prometheus, watching as the final battle approached. All ships report ready, Commander Frost announced from her tactical station. The Allied fleets are in position. Indeed, vessels from 24 former Alliance species had joined Earth's forces. The Council's betrayal had not just freed humanity, it had sparked a revolution across the galaxy. "Send the message," Thane ordered. Diana's voice carried across space to the Council's chambers. "This is Commander Diana Frost of Earth. Your empire is finished. Your fleets are defeated. Your member worlds have abandoned you. Surrender now, and face justice for your crimes against not just humanity, but all species you've manipulated and suppressed." There was a long pause before the response came. The Council's voice, their official speaker, appeared on the main screen. "You cannot comprehend the responsibility we bear. The galaxy needs order, structure." "The galaxy needs freedom," Thane interrupted. "The freedom to grow, to innovate, to find its own path. Your time is over." What followed was not just a battle. It was the end of an era. The Ghost Fleet, joined by ships from newly liberated worlds, broke through Eternium's defenses using technologies that combined human innovation with the unique capabilities of their alien allies. The Council's fortress fell not to conquest, but to cooperation. In the aftermath, as new agreements were being forged and a more equitable galactic society was taking shape, Diana found herself back on Earth, standing in the same room where she had first discovered the Council's betrayal. "Did you ever imagine it would end like this?" Admiral Thane asked, joining her at the window overlooking the lights of New Geneva. "Not like this," Diana admitted. "I expected we'd win our freedom, but this—" She gestured to the various alien ships now peacefully orbiting Earth. "We didn't just break free of their control. We helped the entire galaxy evolve." "That's what they never understood about humanity," Thane said. "We don't just fight for ourselves. Given the chance, we'll fight for everyone who needs it." As the sun rose over Earth, ships from dozens of species moved through the solar system, no longer bound by the Council's restrictions. Humanity had not just survived their betrayal, they had turned it into an opportunity for the entire galaxy to grow beyond the limitations of the past. The Council's betrayal had been meant to cage humanity. Instead, it had unleashed a force for change that would reshape the stars themselves. And in the end, that might have been the greatest victory of all.